Welcome along, ladies and gentlemen, to Canonn Radio Podcast 6. No mystery too small, as we'll discuss later on. Apologies if you've come to the wrong stream. There has been a problem with my scheduling system, and apparently we didn't go live correctly, so I do apologise if you're a bit late, but never mind. Anyway, so yeah, we haven't got a massive amount to talk about tonight. We're not having anything special lined up. We're just going to have a quick chat about just things in general, and we'll just see how things go from there, basically. Joining us tonight, we have Commanders Larzok and Pangolin Wrangling. Welcome, gentlemen. How are you today?
Good.
Nice.
Wondrous. It's a great day. Just what I've been watching all week as people just fucking madness. Absolute madness.
Yeah, I mean, it's not been a particularly quiet couple of weeks, is it? nothing much has happened in the last few weeks.
But I'm with you in spirit, boys. Diamond hands. Diamond hands.
Well, as I said at the beginning, we haven't got anything specific lined up today. We just wanted to come along and just have a chat, just shit, as they say. So, first of all, let's have a quick gander at what's been going on in Elite Dangerous these last few days. And, well, that was that. To be honest, there was an event that some of you may or may not be aware of. It was really exciting. It lasted for all of at least 10 minutes. And and yeah, I was at work when I heard about it. And by the time I finished work, it had all been done. And everyone was just talking about completely other things that had nothing to do with what they found whatsoever. So, gentlemen, does any of you actually have any idea of what actually transpired? And would you like to just fill everyone in?
I'll say this. I was going to bed. They dropped the link on Instagram. I pinned it. I went to sleep. I wake up in the morning. It was just normal day in general. I expected, okay, what's going on? How deep are they into this? Do we know what's going on yet? Nothing. Normal day.
I don't know the exact series of events. The way I understand it is very basically that they posted whatever. It led us to a high. In the end, at the end of these, I would say at most few hours of searching, it led everyone to it's a high security prison, if I remember correctly, that someone has recently busted out of in spectacular fashion and left a beacon that says 07, much to everyone's chagrin. So yeah, that's all I really know about it.
That's about as much as I know about it as well. I mean, there's a lot of people suggesting that it was literally just a in joke by FDev for whatever reason. I don't know if you guys picked up on it, but there was a 3 or 4 gig patch before everything started. It was a huge patch.
I heard it was 60 megs, so I don't know where you were.
60 megs?
Yes.
Well, I don't know because whatever. I just remember looking at my download screen, and it was like 3 or 4. I'm sure it said something like 3 or 4 gigs. Maybe my internet was just really slow for some reason, but it was going to take something like 5-6 minutes to download. I'm like, what the hell? That was a huge patch. I don't know if it was just me then. I don't know. I haven't played the game for a few. No. To be fair, it's on Steam, so Steam does it itself anyway. So I have no idea. Maybe it's just me. 5
minutes is a long time for a 3 gig patch.
Look, right, you don't live in the UK.
Holy shit. Holy shit.
Oi, right, I have to suffer with an 80 megabit connection.
Oh, you poor baby.
Yeah, well, look, you come and have a word with the British Telecom guys over in the UK, and you get them to sort it out because I'm sick of it. I actually want to leave. Do you know?
Faster than mine, dude. I'm looking at like fucking 30 down.
Yeah, you're not.
And like right 1.5 up.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, you're not helping here, like really, are you? No. I mean, okay. So for the uninitiated, in the UK, we are about 500 years behind the rest of the known universe when it comes to internet speed. We have 2 companies in the UK, one called Virgin Media, who do up to, I think it's about 300 meg broadband. So that's that's getting better. But the rest of the people, and I live in Scotland, so Scotland are so far behind everyone else that we're still using spits outside to cook our dinners, that sort of thing, and we get a maximum of 80 meg, which is something like 8.1 megabytes per second. So yes, not particularly fast. It would be nice if it was faster. So I actually want to live in Romania because Romania internet is probably the cheapest in the world, and it has the most ridiculous speeds I've ever known. However, to counteract that, their electricity grid is so flaky that you can turn your kettle on and half a block will be out. So I don't know about that actually. But yeah, so yeah, it's not ideal. When look, I could probably pedal faster to download than I can get now, but I'm ill and diseased, and I can't do such things. So,
I think we need to put these Peloton people to work.
I think you're right.
Start charging batteries, motherfuckers.
If they can afford to get Peloton in the first place, they can afford to do that for us. Exactly. What were you going to say, Pank? Blind us with your extortionate speeds.
I'm getting somewhere between 80 to 90 Mbps down and 10 to 11 Mbps up.
Oh, you see, that's quite crap. That's good. That's the same as I've got. So that's all right. I feel better now.
Yeah, your shit isn't that bad, man. It isn't that bad. There's plenty of spots in the U.S. that barely have broadband.
There's also Australia. So. They're still using copper cables going across the ocean.
You make it sound like that's not normal. There's people in the UK who are still using aluminum, as you guys call it over there. That's a throwback from the war, just in case you weren't aware. I'm not joking. I used to live in a house about 15 years ago, and it's a bit out of the way. It's a nice little place. There's like trees and fields. That's the sort of stuff you don't see these days. And sheep. I don't like. There's a lot of sheep. I don't like sheep. They are very loud in the morning. And pheasants that walk along your garden and they make the most horrific noise to wake you up. Oh, I don't miss it at all. But anyway,
England has a royal family and peasants.
Pheasants, not peasants. Oh my life. Anyway, so I moved there with my
Sorry.
That's fine. It's fine. Yes, I moved there with my partner, and I was like, the internet here is not awesome. Now, bearing in mind this is 15 years ago, fibre broadband didn't exist. At least not for mere minions like us, anyway.
Yeah. So you had to pay big money for that shit.
Yeah, back then. So the maximum speed that you would get at the time was 8 meg, as in 8 megabits. So not especially fast, but that's what you got. Well, anyway, so it was fine in the summer, and then when it started to rain in the winter and in the time, the internet would cut out, and I could never figure it out. I thought it was something to do with our wiring, because it's an old house, it's been there for quite a long time actually, but no, it wasn't that. Turns out after a lot of phone calls to my local telephone company that the wiring outside on the telegraph poles was so old, it was aluminium, and it started to corrode, and they had to replace the entire road with copper, which they should have probably done about 20 years ago, or whatever. But yeah, that's how bad it was. But even 20 years ago, it was just ridiculous. The UK is so far behind. It's like some sort of backwater ditch somewhere, where you got all the people grubbing in the dirt for a bit of broadband. It's just horrific. So So anyway, back to the game. So so I don't know. So my thought on the extremely large download that apparently never happened now is that maybe there were
on Xbox we didn't get it.
Well, that actually is interesting. You said that, because as I'm sure you're fully aware, you guys aren't actually getting Odyssey for a little while because you're not worthy, apparently.
Yeah.
And that would explain a lot then, I suppose. There's a lot of rumours I've read on the forums that there's a lot of Odyssey groundwork that's been downloaded. Not that we'll ever see it right now, of course. And I was kind of hoping that we might see glimpses of it over time. These wonderful events that Frontier say they've got lined up for us, and I just hope they're going to last longer than they did yesterday, Friday, because that wasn't good. There's a penal colony. My God, I can't talk. A penal colony, as far as I understand, And that's about it as far as I know. I don't know anything else about what's happening.
From what I read in the general pins, it's a place where all kinds of people go to disappear. Everyone there has their name removed, guard and prisoner alike. So they've all got code names. They don't know who anybody is. They don't, know anybody's history unless you know that person personally. And it's just a black prison. Where people are tortured, information is extracted. They use all kinds of methods, some illegal, some not legal, some what this exists kind of shit. So yeah, and essentially from what I read there, they took the NMLA, the New Marlinists, whatever the fuck guys that were actually the bomb makers that they rounded up in some federal system. And yeah, there was an elaborate prison break, like Ocean's 11 style. We're breaking everybody out. We're killing everybody. We're taking this shit. And the last log implied that it was a setup to begin with. It was set up to steal the brain, essentially, of the warden of this place, who knows where all the bodies are buried, essentially. And now these secrets are floating out there with Marlinists that were thought captured, now free.
Okay. I did not know that. I haven't had a chance to read all the logs, unfortunately. I've had a bit of a busy week.
They are pinned in general.
I'm busy. I skimmed them. I did skim them. I saw something about a box which had fragile written on it. I'm going to guess that's this brain you're talking about then.
Yeah, the brain scanner. That's the going assumption. It's either that or a bomb. And if the place isn't blown up, I haven't been able to get there myself. I would assume it's more like the brain scanner that was referenced earlier. They, Chekhov's gun and all.
So I presume, possibly, that this is actually going to lead to something.
I would hope. I mean, we got the summit coming up. I'm personally kind of disappointed it didn't go to Antal, because I feel when Aegis has their pet Thargoids attack, Antal's summit would have been more likely to talk to it. Sirius will shoot it unless they can sell it something. So that's a toss-up too, I guess. I don't really know. I assume that was the hidden choice. Peace or guns was Sirius or Antal. And people went with Sirius because, of course.
Guns
are more fun.
Yeah, exactly. I don't agree with that.
I don't think they made an explicit announcement about that, though. Like, that's just my personal opinion on it. Like, why the fuck would you have a CG to essentially battle between who gets it if there weren't a serious outcome difference between the two branches?
I'm not being funny, but can you possibly imagine even a I don't know, a large minority of commanders who play this wonderful game not going to use their weapons?
I personally want the Thargoid multi-purpose beam, because that thing is apparently a scanner suite and tractor beam. So, gimme.
Yes, that would be quite useful.
Like a one slot multi-limpet tasting beam would be fucking titties.
I was actually more thinking about when Odyssey kicks in and we could use that to pick up commanders from the surface. That'd be quite interesting.
Cool. That'd be fucking hilarious too.
And then
I strap an abduction beam to my ass and just fly over people.
I'm thinking less abduction beam, more gravity gun from Half-Life.
Destroy all humans, man. Just
grab someone,
grab them and run.
And just fire them straight up out and off of the planet.
I can see that being useful.
Off. roll over and just launch them.
It may,
Well,
KG.
you could. Here's what you could do. You fly over somebody, hook them with the beam, flip your FA off, go about quarter roll, and in like the half roll when the beam is straight out and they're going as fast up as they're going to go, cut the beam and keep the roll going, and just watch as you have launched a tiny little man into space.
Yeah. That deserved a
I
round
would
of
have
applause.
great fun. Great fun. Like, some of my favorite weapons are utility items.
I do wonder what we can do in Odyssey when it comes to the stuff we've got on our ships. I mean, you got your guns; they're boring, shooting things. I'm thinking more things like limpets. What could you do with limpets? I mean, I'm just trying to think what you could get. Maybe you could get like
limpets entirely. I really think the limpet controller should have its own modules in it, kind of thing. Like, you have a 4-slot limpet controller, you can put 1, 2, 3, 4 different types of modules in it. You can do research, you can do hacking, you can do collection, you can do whatever the fuck the other one is, prospector. That would be cool. Like, give it bays like the hangar.
Oh yeah, okay.
So they can give it like sub outfitting for it, kind of thing. I think that would be sweet.
I have this vision now of modifying limpets with to have legs, and then to go scurry after people on the ground after you've launched them with big guns or painful sharpie things, and that'd be quite fun.
Hunter Seeker limpets,
and those
Hunter Seeker limpets.
Ticks would be even worse.
Ticks
from Titanfall 2.
Fantastic. I love that idea.
Titanfall. Titanfall 2 has those. They're pocket size.
I'll tell you what,
they're like a little disc about the size of a hockey puck, and you throw it, and it pops out, grows legs, and chases shit around or jumps off walls and
explodes when it gets close enough.
Yeah, and it's a proxy mine basically. Proxy mine with legs is fucking hilarious.
Follow stuff.
Well, I read in a game article at some point that there's a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot of discussion. We all know game journalists make out that they have the world secrets in their pocket, but one of the ideas was to have mechs in Odyssey. So you got your SRV. Frontier have already stated they're not doing a great deal with SRVs, but I think mechs would be cool. I would absolutely love to see a Titanfall type mech drop from your ship with you in it. That would work.
That would be nice.
That would work.
I would be down for that as long as they aren't stupid.
They're not. Titanfall is not stupid. Are they? They're well balanced in that game. I think. I was thinking
they're very good. They're very nice in Titanfall. But they need to jump.
Yes.
The maps in Titanfall are also built around the idea of having mechs and players on them.
Yes, that's true enough.
Is too free form unless you're landing in like a specially designed area, like those big cities or whatever, or like the major ground outposts. Like I just think there isn't going to be enough room to do anything.
Well, they're not going to be destructible. I mean, that would be the thing, wouldn't it? If there were destructible buildings and stuff and scenery, then yes, it would be quite cool. But I can't see that happening somehow.
Yeah, I just don't think that most of the settlements they've shown us are fine for when we're just showing up as, a 1 or 2 man crew and running up, gunning the place and stealing whatever, doing whatever in these outposts. For like a full-on mech fight, we need an entirely different class of outposts than they've shown us so far.
Generally the fights wouldn't be at the outpost if there were mechs, unless they were just small exosuits, 8-10 feet tall tops kind of shit. Like not
the whole thing with like Elite is that it's just so it's so obviously open, like for evident reasons. There's no foliage. There's not a lot of geological variation. It's just gonna wind up if you landed 2 mechs in the middle of nowhere, it'd wind up into either a who can shoot who first or a sniping match, depending on how they find each other.
What I'm hoping they've done is they're going to let us explore, like, all of like the random settlements and ghost towns and shit we found for like the last 5-6 years. I'm hoping they're giving some of that shit interiors.
That'd be nice.
So like you could go to the place at Crash 3 out in the HIP system,
right.
14702, whatever the fuck, I think. And like poke around in there and like find old data, get some data materials, or scavenge for parts for some random shit. Like I think that would be cool. That would be nice to give shit a little bit more life, so you could like roll up on a place in your ship, follow your blue ping. If you're like doing this old school, like no third parties, I don't know what's going on with this game, I'm just gonna follow it like old beige style.
I think the trouble with
that shit, land,
that sounds a little bit too much like stuff.
Well, who fucking cares? Like games are games. Like
I think that sounded more like No Man's Sky to me.
Okay.
I would like to be able to, roll up on a place, drop down, get out on my SRV, scan the beacons, go, oh wow, this place is kind of fucked up. Maybe I should get out of the damn SRV and poke about here. And, get out, poke about. Jump around. Oh fuck, somebody left an alien in here.
Well,
I brought my gun.
Platypus in chat is just saying about how M&S has actual stuff to see on planets. Elite Dangerous has yet to do that. Yes, we know that's not entirely true. I mean, don't forget we did find
it is entirely true. The last time I played No Man's Sky, there was so much shit to do. I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Actual stuff to find on planets.
The only thing that stops me from continuing to play No Man's Sky is the shitty flight mechanics.
They are terrible.
If they offered a sim-style flight mechanics, flight system, I would play that shit all the time.
Even if it was like Squadrons or something, because the flight.
No, fuck Squadrons. If it was, like real goddamn flight mechanics, not like I'm swimming through space with air fucking mechanics. No.
Okay, fair enough. I do change the control method on Squadron so that when you tilt the stick, you're actually tilting the ship rather than just going left and right. I hate that. That really annoys me. But No Man's Sky. I disagree though, as I'm sure you expected. No Man's Sky is the king of copy and paste. Every single building is identical in every possible way, and after you've seen the same building on planets that are like thousands of light years from where you were before, it starts to get a bit crap. I mean, I'm not saying that Elite isn't guilty of that, but then you don't find many buildings outside of the bubble anyway, so that doesn't really mean anything. But no, if No Man's Sky had more variety in what you found and was a little bit more, it's hard to put my finger on the exact phrasing I'm trying to use here, it had a lot of potential, but because it was completely fucked up in the beginning, and it wasn't written properly and it was rushed out the door, and it was built up to be the best game in existence when it had no depth whatsoever. It's like all the space stations; they are literally the same. There is nothing different about them. So after and it's hard to keep. I mean, it's bad enough with Elite Dangerous, but at least you've got a story behind why you're finding the same space stations everywhere in the bubble, because that makes sense. There's a few companies making them, but in No Man's Sky, they're literally in every single system that there ever has been.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's just how that's tied up in the story of No
Okay,
Man's
fine. Yes, I do get that.
And like,
it
You
did.
can just assume everything is prefab.
yeah,
Am I asking too
there.
much?
My issue with No Man's Sky isn't the repetitiveness of the buildings. It's all the plant. There's no variety between flora and fauna, which, to be fair, is difficult to get. But like, besides the 8 foot tall pink teddy bear with massive horns that legitimately scared me the first time I saw it, I don't think I ever encountered any animal that I could actually remember in No Man's Sky.
I quite
Like,
liked them.
The sky dick whales were
The Sky Dick Whales are fun.
I think I played after all of that got like they
Oh
changed how
no,
the
they
animals
still
spawn.
exist.
Do they still exist?
They
Maybe I just
still
haven't played
exist.
enough yet. Then I just can't stick with it. It's like I play it for like I'll put 10 hours into a playthrough and then I just sort of it
Hey, you
just
dick
feels
around,
like
you
I
build a
run out of
base, you go,
steam.
yeah.
Yeah, that's basically where I get to. I
I
get to
want to go
building a
fly.
base.
I want to go fly a
and
spaceship, and that's not this game. You
I
know,
I
like
I, I
I,
want to I want to run like fleet operations with like the
yeah.
capital ships and stuff you can buy, but those are A, very expensive, and B, there's just not much to do with them.
no,
No.
they just go off and do their own thing, and you just wait for them to come back. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I reckon that
I
there's going to be a game. So somebody somewhere is going to write a game that's going to be a mix of NMS, it's going to be a mix of Elite Dangerous, maybe a smattering of some Star Citizen stuff in there, and it's going to be all mixed together, and it's going to be a good game. It's just not happened yet. I mean, what was the other game that came out recently? What's it called? That other one?
EverQuest.
No, not EverQuest. Shut up. Um, what was it called?
Everspace.
Is it Everspace
There
2,
is
is it?
Everspace 2 came
Is that
out.
the one? Is it? Yeah, I forgot what it's called.
I
I've
don't know.
played that. That's really good. It's got a few faults, if you like. It's
Isn't
more.
that a roguelike?
No, not really.
I don't think anyone wants Eve, Stoy. Like no one.
Oh
No one
God,
wants
Eve. Eve is
there are certain aspects of Eve that would be fucking great, like the control aspects of players owning shit.
yeah.
But I don't think anyone wants to dive headfirst into a 15-year-old game with established politics and nonsense.
Yeah, I think that. Do you know what? That's the biggest problem with Eve. I mean, I played it for quite a while. Well, I say quite a while, maybe a year or two. And apart from the fact that I don't like people, so Eve isn't the game for me anyway. There's just something wrong with the way that the game is today. There's not many newbies, if you like, who could really effectively join Eve and have fun with it. I don't think anymore. You kind of need to be in there to understand how it all works and all the little intricacies of the politics.
Someone's got to jump you in. You know, you have to be brought in by a brother. Essentially, it's turned into an order.
Which is fair enough. That's up to them. I mean, at the end of the day, there's not many games that can claim to be as successful as Eve has over time. I mean, some of the things they tried were
Warcraft
horrendous.
Hasn't murdered? Yes. That is a thing.
I just think that there's room for another space exploration combat sim game with elements of player control. There is going to be a game that comes out.
Okay. Do you remember? Did you ever play the first EverQuest?
Yes.
Did they keep the language learning system from that?
Yes, they did.
So,
in fact, it's EverQuest 2 as well.
The more you were exposed to a language, the more you could speak it.
Oh, good question. No, EverQuest 2, you basically got primer books. So once you got the book, that was it. You learnt the language, but you had to go through quests a lot of the time to get them. But I don't know about the first one.
In the first one, you could go hang out in areas, right? Like I was a dark elf, and I made my way from dark elf start area all the way to like wood elf start area, and fucked around over there at level. So like it was a trip. But I spent so much time there, I could speak their language, and you'd get more and more of it over time. As same with like the enemies and shit. Like any like verbal enemy would be speaking a language, and like even exposure to their language would up your language skill. It was really fucking cool. And I would love to see something like that come into a game again. You know, like that level of depth where like there's different shit going on. And like it was very cool to be like allied with people that I shouldn't have been. I should have been KOS. You know, like you'd walk up to the gates, people be like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" It's like, "Hi, Bob." Wave at the guard, do a dance. It's like, nah, they like me here. I killed brownies for these motherfuckers. Days covered in brownie blood.
That's disturbing.
No.
Brownies, weird things in EverQuest 2 that I could only ever find
little fuck.
You were little shits, but you can only find them in one place. As far I cannot remember. I've been a long time since I played EverQuest 2 properly, but Loping Forest, I think it was Loping Forest. I really can't remember now. And there's just one little batch of brownies, and they're just horrid. They died fairly easy. I was a Shadow Knight, a big sword, that sort of shit, very good stuff. But yes, they were quite vicious little bastards. Anyway, what were we saying? There we'll talk about Space Station 13. No, thank you very much. I like my games to have 3D graphics. I can't be done with it. That's not true, actually.
EverQuest is still alive.
Yeah, it's even getting expansions.
They brought it back recently.
Well, there was. I tell you what's happened because I followed the whole thing.
It's older than me.
It is. EverQuest was originally done by Sony Entertainment, as I'm sure you're all aware.
I was a beta tester for that.
EverQuest can legally drink.
I was a beta tester for EverQuest. It was fun.
It was fun. It was a good game.
And the shit they did at the end of the beta was the shit I would love to see in Elite. Like the gods came out. Like, a bunch of the devs, took up a role as each god and led their forces in a fucking skirmish. It was great.
I used to be, I've probably told you before, I used to be a guide in EverQuest 2, which is essentially the same thing. And we begged the developers of the game to let us do something like that. They wouldn't let us do it for some reason. Sony were really funny about that. They were like, no, we don't want to do that again. We'll have it. Well, you can be NPCs, but you can't have all powerful stuff because you just can't. Which is a bit of a shame because I think it'd be quite fun to go around and kill people. But yes, the game was taken over by a company called Daybreak, and then they've recently sold it on now to another company, which I've forgotten the name of now. Swedish.
Daybreak.
No, they're not. They're not now. Daybreak. So what happened is Daybreak was Daybreak, and then they split off to a sister company called Darkpool, which they basically was part of Daybreak. And then what they've done now is they've sold that to I think it's a Swedish company. I forget the name now. And they've done other weird shit. I've never heard of them myself. I can't remember the name of the company now. So they're now going to be under that banner instead of actual Daybreak. It's a bit of a complicated thing. But they're still producing expansion packs for EverQuest and EverQuest 2, even today. It's insane. I mean, EverQuest, the community in EverQuest is ridiculous. It's still going on quite happily. I can't play it anymore. I just don't play it. But yeah, I think so. Pretty sure.
EverQuest and EverQuest 2 are both free to play on Steam.
Yeah, you got limitations, obviously.
Also, according to the website, I can also log in with my Daybreak account because I have one from PlanetSide 2. So I think they are
cool. There's a game and a half.
Them okay. I understand exactly what you mean. Then yes.
Yeah, I haven't played anything.
Yeah, those are the assholes who bought the Tribes license.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah,
I don't know what they're going to do with EverQuest. I've no idea, but yeah.
Well, that makes me less keen on going to fucking relive some childhood memories.
I reckon we should have Elite Dangerous 2, Dangerouser, and it should be an MMO, and it should have a monthly subscription. or
I'd be
a
down.
premium subscription, so you can play it for free like you do everywhere else. But if you want to actually do shit in the game properly, like PvP, then you have to pay for it. I reckon that'd be cool. I'll pay it.
PvP or BGS effectiveness. Yes,
Yeah,
I'd be totally down.
I'm waiting for the people in chat to say, no.
I want to pay for premium ammo, like World of Tanks.
Oh,
no,
God.
that's dumb. That can fuck right off. Like, I don't mind simping it. You know,
press buttons. I didn't mean to press buttons.
That shit is handy.
Ignore the applause. That wasn't supposed to happen.
They do have cat people in Stellaris. Yes,
they do. They do indeed.
I prefer my robots in Stellaris.
I haven't played
it in the Lunar New Year sale. I've got too much stuff lined up that I'm looking at for the New Year sale.
Oh yeah, I got Stellaris.
Yes,
Stellaris is like the greatest writing prompt generator for sci-fi genre I have ever seen in my life.
I haven't played it properly yet.
Iron 4. That's the closest thing I have to Stellaris.
I have
Actually,
not.
No, the closest thing I have to Stellaris.
Oh,
is,
the cat cult still exists. It is by far still a thing. Artemis. It is. Fuck, man. I don't even know. Stellaris, just something about the robots. It's being able to sell food to the meat bags and like prop up an empire of robots on apples. You know, it's funny as hell. They never let me design the progenitor race properly. Otherwise, I would possibly think about cat robots.
Surely there's mods to satisfy your needs.
I primarily play it on my Xbox because my computer rebels when I try to play it on it.
I always forget that there's people out there who don't have PCs. I always forget.
Well, I own it on both, but my desktop is not the best. And by about mid to late game, the smell in the air noticeably changes. So, like, it's one of those things. Like, I don't like playing Stellaris on my PC.
Maybe it's time for an upgrade.
Yeah, more than likely, but you know.
Yeah, I'm starting to like strategy games.
Anyone want to lend me fucking 500 GameStop shares?
Oh my god! Oh my god! Do you know what? I've tried my hardest to follow that. It's ridiculous.
So insane.
Are we not?
It's still like someone edited the Wall Street Bets and GameStop logos on r/Spubby. It says Wall Street Bets power to the people instead of GameStop power to the players.
I'm going to presume that there's nobody in chat who's actually got any stocks in GameSpot or anyone else for that matter. In case they have, they must be quite rich by now. I don't know. I wish I had that sort of money to go and buy that sort of crap. But it's like I say, I'm not clued up on the whole stocks and shares thing. But I do know that these hedge managers, they need to be.
No one can buy it. No one can buy it anymore because they shut down Robinhood.
There we go.
No, it's back again now. It's back now.
Is it?
Yeah. They shut down.
Are they letting normal human beings trade, or are they still only limited to?
Oh no, it's still all messed up.
There's
crazy nonsense going on all over the place. The whole thing is just pointing out how much of a farce the entire economic system is.
Who would have guessed the downfall of the world economy would have started on Reddit?
I
would.
Seen the power of crowdsourcing through Canonn. You know, like
I would have guessed some other sites first, personally.
You know, the power for coordinated mischief is greatly increased by the internet, and like the elder generations tend not to notice that. You know, it's the Bane thing.
Are happening.
You know, you adopted the darkness. I was born into it, kind of shit. You know,
there's a guy.
It's one of those.
I don't know if you guys have seen it, but a guy called the Spiffing Brit, and he's basically broken YouTube at the moment. But by using the algorithms, he's done a stellar job. Most impressed with the gent.
A ton of actually, for the most part, most of the people that I've seen that are also trying to do like similar stuff, like just constantly posting polls and stuff, it's a lot of ASMR channels of all things. That's what
Huh?
I see the most in my feed, posting like random polls trying to, cause issues with YouTube's algorithms.
Yeah, that's his doing.
Yeah, that's
It's
what I
ridiculous.
saw his name mentioned a whole bunch, so I assumed it had something to do with him. I didn't know he started it. So
Well, he didn't start it
good.
specifically. What actually happened is that he knows he's quite into this sort of stuff anyway. He knows a lot of other streamers, but apparently all the big companies, the massive companies, they're starting to use the algorithm to get their numbers up. And apparently he decided that that wasn't good. That's not a good thing, because then little streamers are just get left behind, because they're not going to get any views, because everyone's going to go to these ridiculous K-pop twats and all that sort of thing. So he made it public, which has now broken the internet, as far as I can tell. There's these polls everywhere. We should do one. Canonn Media has 1,750 subscribers, which is more than enough to do this, I believe. I think you need 1,000 to do this community channels thing. So we should do that, and then we can explode in popularity.
Yeah.
Not sure if I want to do that or not, though.
But
not right now.
like there's definitely a content creation wall that you come into when screwing around with
Absolutely.
these things, between the I'm doing it for fun and the I'm doing this for a living sort of
I was tempted to
creator
do something like that.
classifications, I guess.
Yeah.
I
I've
don't want to put in the effort to feed the massive hordes
Well,
of
the
content
thing is,
hungry.
completely
honest. No one's paying me. We can't be paid for this. And that puts like a hard cap on how much I give a shit.
Well, no, that's true enough.
The thing my dad always said when we would mow the lawn, and we mow the lawn or we mow yards for like 4 houses down our street, and that's just how we've done it for a long time. And we have the house next to us is it gets rented from time to time. The guy's trying to sell it right now, but it used to get rented. So every time a new neighbor would move in, we'd always just mow their yard, because it's always what we do. Then they would come and like maybe try and pay us, and my dad would always refuse. And I'd always ask why. He said, because if you get paid to do it, they expect results.
Yeah.
That's always how I think of it whenever I'm like, whenever I get back into streaming, and I'll do like a couple streams for like a couple weeks, and someone says, oh, I would subscribe to you, and I go, no, if you pay me, you expect results, and I can't just drop out whenever I want to.
Maybe that's my advantage. I mean, I don't have that problem. See, I mean, our shows we do here, I mean, you guys can't do it all the time because no one knows what you're up to. You don't yourself what you're doing. I have the luxury of, at least at the moment, having every Saturday evening to Sunday morning free. I don't have any work on Sundays. So, I'm quite happy to do a show once a week if I could. I love doing this sort of thing. But you get to a point where you don't want to do it all the time because you don't get any sort of reward for doing it. It does become more of a job than a fun thing. At the moment, we're having a laugh. This is fun. There's no stress. Story's not going to keep paying us money all the time because we've told them not to now. And while I would like a packet of biscuits a week, which would be very handy, apparently our Canonn says no, so we can't do that. So this is great. I mean, this is fun. This show is not designed to be listened to by 5 million people, because God, can you imagine that? 5 million people listening to us chatting about space cats. It's just not really it's not something I imagine would become mainstream, to be honest. But on the other hand, I'm definitely personally looking into doing some sort of a proper stream myself. I mean, I'm not guaranteeing anything because I don't know, but I think it'd be quite cool to do this sort of show, but in a more general term, away from Canonn, just about stuff. So we'll see how that goes for me. But yeah, you do need to have financial backing from people. Do you know what? I was watching a stream. Now, who is it now? I forget the guy's name. I unfollowed him because I didn't know I'd even followed him in the first place on Twitter. No idea where he even came from. He's a guy who runs competitions all the time. He does giveaways every 5 minutes. He's got about 6 billion viewers. I forget the exact figure now. It's quite a lot though.
PewDiePie.
And no, not PewDiePie. He's a twat. No, it's this other guy. He's not done it for that long that I can see. He does.
The other guy.
He's quite Tron-like. He has these things called grid points, and that's when you start to think, "Oh, hold on a minute." You do wonder where these people get all this money from to do these giveaways, and I think it's a bit more like that, to be honest. But yeah, this guy, he just thrives on people, and the amount of money, the amount of donations that they just throw at him is absolutely insane. In fact, I don't know if you guys, Linus Tech Tips. I was watching the WAN show yesterday, and Linus, in his infinite wisdom, God help us all, he was talking about the stocks thing. And basically, he said that because he wants to stick it to them, he wants to get involved in it, he wants to make a point, and he's got enough people to do it. What he said is that, look, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. You guys who keep giving me super chats, you do it tonight, and the money you put in for super chats, I will match 5 times, and I'll buy the shares in the company just to get involved. Yeah, you can see how that went, right? 50 grand. $50,000. He had to cap it. The people in the chats told him to cap it because people were putting in hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, super chats they were literally throwing money at the guy.
Yeah, I've seen.
I want that.
Yeah, it should be interesting.
I know Stoy right now is trying his hardest not to type in, 100 quid for a super chat. Don't do it, mate. It's not worth it.
The way to make money right now on the internet is either that or
Patron
VTubers.
Oh, shut up with your look! Right, if I wanted to become an anime cartoon character, I would do something different.
You know damn well he would be like a fucking plane transformer or some kind of weird.
No, he wouldn't. He'd be some pathetic, cute little cat girl.
Bizarre cross between a pangolin and a tank.
That's closer.
Know. I mean,
a pangolin and a tank, right? So a tangling then. Tangling. There you go.
Sure.
Right.
Sure. I'll commission an artist.
Just so everyone listening here and around the world, we are never ever going to do VTube. It's just not happening.
No, I'm not
ever.
I'm not included in that.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Canonn Radio Podcast is a anime-free zone.
Hey, if I can ever get my Hollow Me to voice track me, that is
something I legitimately want to look into doing. Actually, I want to look into live 2D face rig and see if I can actually get the Hollow Me's to be animated faces. That is something I legitimately want to look into doing.
You'd have to get the actual file. I don't think they have avatar files. I mean, I don't know how.
I don't think you would necessarily. I think you could pull it off with a little bit of clever editing and some deep faking programs.
Oh, good. Go on then.
Okay. I personally don't know how to do it. I don't know how the systems work. However, I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility to make a 2-dimensional VTuber style avatar out of a Hollow Me using something along the lines of live 2D and face rig. I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility.
Yeah, I do see what you're saying. I can understand how that's a possibility because you basically have to take still shots of every possible expression you can make out of the damn thing, and then you'd link it to some sort of software that could mimic the movements of the mouth as you're speaking. But to be honest, that sounds like a fuckload of hard work, and I don't think I could be asked.
It would probably be a lot easier to just commission a character based off of your Hollow Me and Elite, but
I'm pretty sure that if you wanted to, you could probably. Do you know what you could do? Right, I'm pretty sure this is possible. There's a website that you can actually upload your photo of yourself to become an avatar, a 3D avatar. Now, I don't think it's a particularly good one because I think it actually uses stock parts to kind of make one as close as possible. A bit like those Wii's used to be back in the good old days of the Wii. However, I'm also fairly certain that I've seen avatar websites that have it a bit more realistic. For example, I don't suppose anybody here remembers a poker site called PKR. PKR was awesome. I thought it was a fantastic poker site. Real money poker site meets The Sims. It was literally that good. You could create your own character and you could actually upload a face of your character and they would match it as close as they can with their own software to give you a pretty good representation of what you look like, to a limit, obviously. Now, there's no reason why this sort of software couldn't be used to take a photo of your avatar, your HoloMe, and just make an avatar that way. That would work. It doesn't need to be perfect in terms of the body itself. That can be done later. So there is probably ways of doing it. I imagine, yes, but not. You couldn't actually use the actual HoloMe character because, as Platypus is saying, it's all rendered in real time rather than having a model that's made up. It wouldn't be possible. But I don't know.
And like I said, it'd probably be easier to just commission an artist and go, "Hey, make me a character based off of this picture of my HoloMe."
Wouldn't cost you much. Actually, not at all.
Yeah.
As you're aware, I'm trying to develop this little game myself. I'm only doing little 2D pixel graphics at the moment because I can't afford 3D modelers because Jesus Christ. But 3D modelers do exist out there who will quite happily. You could pay them. I don't know how much they charge these days. It's not a massive amount of money for one single model. You give them a photo, say, "Look, make me." And they probably will, and you'll probably get a fairly good avatar, and you can just slap that avatar into FaceRig, and off you go. Dead easy.
Live 2D and stuff is
that, whatever. Dead easy.
There's all sorts of like background stuff that has to go into it, like skeletons and like.
The skeletons is part of the modelling. The modelers would do that. Basically all you have is a couple of you got your spine, you got your legs, arms, hands, neck. That's it. That's all you need. The rest of it's all done by software. FaceRig handles the rest of it.
I mean, I don't know.
If it's possible to do it, if there's a way of making a reasonably good looking HoloMe type avatar, I will introduce them into Canonn Radio. There you go.
I'll have to look into it at some point.
There you go.
I need to actually get Live 2D and FaceRig at some point too. That's gonna go on my Lunar New Year list, I guess.
If they have tails, however, they will not be allowed in.
How do you think that would work in 0G? Do you think tails could provide some form of like extra articulation in 0G? How would a spacesuit built around a tail work?
I would imagine
tuck it into your leg, or do you think it'd have like its own thing?
Even though I don't even want to get into that discussion, it would be in a spacesuit.
I think it would be useful to have if you're moving around. You could add an entire extra amount of velocity to your rotation without any sort of fuel. It'd be.
I do apologise, listeners, for this current conversation. It's beyond my control at the moment. I'll just start doing this every time he speaks. Anyway,
you brought up the tails. That's your fault.
Anyway, right. What else we got to talk about today? Anything exciting?
Exciting stuff I can talk about that isn't related to Elite.
The trouble is, it's not. I mean, apart from real world stuff, that let's face it, there's not much going on in the world right now. Really, is there?
Hooray!
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I'm doing school because I that's a really.
But the world is full of death.
I'm not going to a physical school.
You just said you went back to school.
I'm taking online classes.
Oh, right. Well, I was going to say, I mean, I don't really fancy going into the fetid world of despair and hatred.
Neither. Yeah, no, I'm taking one synchronous and one asynchronous, and I much prefer the synchronous, as I've found out. Much more work as it is, it's nice to see other human beings and converse with them.
Oh, you see, I don't miss that at all. It doesn't bother me in the slightest.
I don't miss it that much, but it's certainly nice when it happens. If that makes sense, it's nicer to have a class where that happens.
I don't remember that.
I don't like the class that. See, the issue with the asynchronous class is it's literally watch this half-hour lecture, which is invariably incredibly boring because there's no discussion to it at all. It's just someone talking at you for a half hour, and then record a response to it based on that and the readings and whatever your prompt is, and that's it. And I hate that as a class.
That sounds quite a lot like this podcast, to be fair.
But I'm actually talking to you guys. I don't talk to anyone in that class. I haven't even conversed with that teacher since I had her however many semesters ago, because I'm retaking both of these.
All right.
I don't know.
Let's humour what stories talking. I've got no idea what he's on about. Okay. TTRPGs. Something to do with some
RPGs.
Oh, I don't play that crap. Well, Stoy, as I mentioned earlier today, I don't have friends and I don't speak to people, so I don't think me playing tabletop games is really going to happen. No, I don't have a great deal of time for that sort of thing anymore, purely because I got old, and I've had my fill already. I actually used to play Warhammer Man of War, if anyone's ever heard of that, which was little boats. That was quite cool. But I've never done the whole Dungeons and Dragons thing, and I've never played there's got the Elite Dangerous RPG. I know very little about that, actually, if I'm honest. I know it's quite
the ugliest ship that FDev has ever produced in it.
Oh, okay, which one's that one then?
The Imperial Explorer, I think. It looks like a goose.
A goose. That sounds cool.
It does. Is it the Imperial Explorer? Also, Story, I need to issue a correction for something you said in chat. There are no male Hololive idols. It's Hollow Stars is the male branch of Hololive. Thank you.
Lars, are you still with us?
Yes.
Oh, just making sure, because you get dropping out. I know that you're rapt listening to what we're saying right now. Very, very interesting.
BDRPG. Let's see if
you can do these over the internet. Well, I'm probably sure you can. You can make chess over the internet as well, but I don't play that either. Apparently, the guys here at Canonn Radio are wanting to play some games, and I believe that I think we're all more or less looking at playing. What was it, Phantasmonia or something? Phasmophobia. That sounds quite interesting, I suppose. I also thought what would be quite cool if anyone's ever played it. I think it'd be a bit for a laugh. We could perhaps try playing that Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes game. That'd be quite funny.
That could be fun.
I could do that. I've been playing that a couple of times.
Maybe we could all play EverQuest.
Do you know what? I would rather not, if I'm honest. If I think I draw the line at that game. To be fair, it's so boring. I mean, the trouble with EverQuest is it's all turn based. It doesn't look like it's turn based, but it is. You got to press a button and then wait for that time to end, and then press it again and wait again and press it again, wait again. Oh, I'm dead.
Can we all play old school RuneScape instead?
No.
Why not?
I don't like it.
Can we just have a stream that's just us fishing? Fishing 99.
No. What are you on? Because people would turn it off.
I'm not saying old school RuneScape is one of the best games ever made, but it's certainly up there.
Apparently, Stories just challenged a game of chess
that are entertaining, like Go Hunting in Red Dead.
Oh, did you really have to say that?
Go play Deep Dock.
Oh God.
Go play Deep Rock and dig a hole. Play Left 4 Dead or
Hunt Ghost.
Whatever the new Left 4 Dead coming out is going to be called. I can't remember.
Warhammer 40k Darktide. Or Back for Blood. That's what it was.
Well, I think that we've got to play games that people actually want to watch.
I've got that list compiled.
I know. I've seen
Get
it.
through it at some point.
I think Phasmophobia is probably a winner. We'll have to do that at some point.
Probably, yeah,
we'll do that at some point.
I was looking mostly for games that would require, I guess, communication in some way.
Well, that's why I thought about the bomb game.
Happening.
I think that'd be quite cool to play.
Keep Talking and No One Explodes would definitely be a solid choice. I included what else that fit that.
Stoy's just recommended poker. Now, I don't know about that. That's what we should do. We should all go play live poker.
I am very bad at, as I've learned from Red Dead Redemption, I am very bad at card games.
I used to play poker quite well, actually. I used to play.
Not good at
Red Dead's broken.
It probably is.
That's not proper poker at all.
It's Texas Hold'em, isn't
it? It's a bad variation of Hold'em with that you can do dumb things too. Like just.
What was the other thing?
At any point, just spam max bet and force everybody to call. Like,
I see.
I didn't know that would happen. I never tried that.
Yeah, it gets pretty silly.
I did that in real life. What are you on about?
Have you guys ever heard of Barotrauma?
Who?
No.
It's a game about. It's a 2-dimensional submarine crew game. It is really weird and really, really surprisingly fun.
That might be worth looking at, but you just reminded me about Pulsar.
Oh, Pulsar Lost Cause. My friend says a lot of really good things about it. I want to play it at some point. Maybe that'll go on my Lunar New... I'll add that to the list. Maybe that'll go on my Lunar New Year sale list too.
So, just for those who are wondering what the hell we're talking about, by the way, what we're thinking of doing is having a separate stream, not related to Canonn, because let's be honest, there's not much Canonn to do with hunting ghosts, really. Although I don't know, I think Lars might disagree with that with his cats. There's ghosty cats as well. I'm sure there is. Spirit cats. That's right, isn't it? So we might just do that at some point in the very, very near future. So do keep an eye out for that. But yes, we won't bore you for too much longer on that subject, because I don't think many of you came here to listen to us talk about games. How long have we been streaming for now? I haven't got a time. Where are we?
About an hour.
About an hour and 10 minutes, actually. Well, I'll tell you what then. How about we wrap things up? I don't think we've got much else we can talk about in terms of Elite, to be honest. Keep an eye on the Canonn Media YouTube site and in Discord. We are looking at doing a R&D special next week. I can't 100% guarantee it will happen next week, but we are going to try, because I'll be able to spend some time getting organised. But we'll be discussing the different tools being used in the game, and more importantly, the fantastic group of people who actually make these tools. We'll have a quick discussion with LCU, and we'll see what he has to say about how the tools are made and how it all works out. And I'll see if we can drag some other people in to just talk about it as well. But other than that, yeah, we'll try and do that for next week. Is there anything else you guys want to bring up before we disappear for the night? Is there anything obvious I've forgotten about? Anyone in chat want to suggest a topic we need to discuss quickly?
I'm sure I will recall like 3 minutes after we're done.
Naturally.
But right now, I can't think of anything.
No, I think the world of Elite is a bit. It's waiting with bated breath at the moment. I think that's what we can say. There's going to happen. I think we're going to see some stuff. However, we're also waiting for Odyssey, and we're probably waiting for that for a while by the looks of it as well. I think we'll leave it there then, gentlemen. Does that sound fair enough?
Yeah. I want to know if. Okay, parting note. I want to know if there is more to this supposed mystery that like happened in my sleep, which was like 4 or 5 hours tops. Like, what the fuck? What kind of returned gauntlet is that, guys? Like,
I'm hoping that was just the start of it, because if that's literally it, then
I really hope we've just like we smashed that one up. Okay, there's nothing left, and like 4 light years away, there's like some listening post.
I think
it's some other dumb shit.
I think it's a combination of that was only a part 1, and we either smashed it way faster than we were supposed to, or we missed some entire step in it.
If after 8 years now, if after 8 years FDev don't understand that not just Canonn, but most people who play the game to that level are going to destroy the sort of mystery quest puzzle things in a matter of minutes, well, they need to get their ass into gear. I mean, they've done better than this. They've done far better than this in terms of difficulty and puzzles. It took us ages to work out some of the stuff that's out there now. Look at that.
I think what the issue actually is they have a hard time balancing it between everybody else.
Oh, fuck everyone else. I don't give a shit about everyone else.
Our hive of lunatics.
Game
like it.
I have an no, Lars. I have an answer to that. I don't give a shit about the BGS. I couldn't care less. I have no interest in it whatsoever.
No. I'm not talking about that at all. Like, I'm just saying.
No, but what I'm saying is that I don't care about the BGS, so they may not care about puzzles and mysteries, but that doesn't matter because they should be catering for everybody. Making a good mystery, to be fair, is a bit of work. You got to put some effort into that. However,
yeah, but like when your everybody consists of a bunch of amateur crypto wackos, like it's a big curve.
The only way around
it's a big curve. It's either you cater to the top end, or the top end runs over everything else you do.
The only way around that is to just hide it in a random place and say it's out there in this area, and then just.
Oh, they tried that with the Guardian runes. That didn't work either.
That's what I mean. That it just like the way
they need to do what they did with before they had the links when we were trying to find the Thargoid bases. They need to just do that. They need to just say, look, there's some crap down here in some part of the system. Have a look for it. It looks like this. Off you go. I still remember the days and days of flying upside down in my condo, I think it was at the time, trying to look for these bloody things, and all I just saw was just this sea of beige forever. All I could see was sand. I mean, while it was mind-numbingly boring, the amount of people who got involved with that crap was unbelievable. I remember there was sections of Canonn dedicated to different parts of this thing. We had an archaeology department and we had a signal department, all this sort of stuff. It was organised. It was important to do that. I just think that. Okay. Talk about the botting thing. I don't know. Have you got any idea what you're talking about? The botting thing?
Yeah, read news.
Okay, I haven't read news.
It's like a bunch of player groups are all saying,
oh, right.
We're not going to use bots. We're going to report people we think are bots, so on and so forth, that kind of thing.
Okay, so late breaking news then. I didn't notice this, actually, to be honest. I don't see anything wrong with that. I think that using scripted commanders is ridiculous. The only thing I'm a bit concerned about is the phrasing. To not benefit from third parties using scripted commanders in Elite Dangerous to report any subscription. So I presume what he's on about then is just literally commanders with these new free Elite Epic accounts using some sort of script to do what exactly?
No, not even that. This dates back way further. Like, people have been botting in Power Play for years. That's why it's a joke.
Oh, I see it now. Yeah,
the majority of the open only movement is from Power Play, is because these bots run in solo or private groups. They can't be countered by normal methods of Power Play, where you would fly in and blow these assholes up. You hunt them down.
I see I'm looking at the news article, the form article now. Yeah,
it makes the whole mechanics of Power Play a joke because they're so easily gamed.
I wonder what this is going to achieve then. I'm just looking at the actual forum post now. I mean, yes, it's all very nice to have all these groups say they're not going to use it, but to be honest, that's a lot of people in these groups, and there's always one or two that will just say, yeah, whatever, and they'll do it anyway. Like I say, I don't personally do power play. I've never got involved in the BGS because I don't have that sort of time at all. That's some proper game, that is. I mean, I could never get into that. Not when I'm working and sleeping and suffering agonising pain. But I know that people do, and I can imagine the botting is probably going to be a massive problem. It's like in any game, it's just not very fair for those commanders who are putting the work in to actually play the game properly, for it to be to lose a system or have their the state changed just because of people just using bots. I definitely get that. So do you reckon that this is going to be a step in the right direction? Then is it actually going to make a difference? Do we think?
No, probably not. No.
It strikes me as the whole, like, it says in the TOS, like, you're not allowed to bot or whatever the specific statement is, but at the same time, how much can they do to actually prevent that? And that's
they don't enforce their terms of service
No.
in a number of ways.
Yeah, that's the issue. So
there's a lot of smokescreen terms and real terms that they can actually deal with, and if they see like actual like verifiable proof, like if you can point them at a certain system and they go and look at the logs and figure out which commanders are doing certain things on like a very mechanized schedule, I'm sure they can figure it out. Do they actually want to put the effort in? Probably not.
There's no point, is there? I mean, there is people playing the game, of course. That's different, but it's like Eve is a great example. I mean, can you possibly imagine if what we call them, the game masters of Eve, should we say, they gave as much of a shit about Eve as devs do for Elite Dangerous? I can't imagine that would work out so well. I mean, the good thing about Eve, of course, is that it does have a fairly well looked. It's like a self-sustaining community who look after each other, look after themselves. They can police themselves to a degree because they've got all sorts of ways to, punish those who are doing things wrong. And I've seen many examples of that. You can't do that in Elite, and why would you? There's no real reason to do that. I think Elite Dangerous is not as story driven as Eve is, because Eve it creates its own dramas, which we've seen on many, many occasions. Elite Dangerous doesn't have the tools to do that. It's missing that, I think. I'd like to think I'm not just sitting on my own now, by the way. Everyone just went deadly silent.
I don't have enough experience with games.
I think, I don't know. I don't want to turn it into another hour-long rant about the ways that I could just run wild with the sector of space and never worry about any of the story that FDev has to tell ever again if they gave me the tools to do it.
Yeah, I completely agree. I like stories, and I like getting involved in mysteries. I like getting involved in first contact and stuff like that. And I like to go and explore and just see what I can find. The trouble is, I'm not going to find anything that hasn't already been. Okay, that's not true, because there was a new species of floating ball found recently, which is very cool. And I'm
like an M67 hand grenade.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. It's a cool thing to find new stuff, and I like that. It doesn't mean anything, unfortunately. They're not partially sentient, and they're not going to come and invade us and eat our babies. But it would be nice, I suppose. Maybe. It kind of gives me hope to think that one day we are going to do something like that. We are going to fly out to an unknown part of space, and then we're going to find these 17 armed squiggly things with 5 eyes, and they're just coming.
Them baby meat?
Yeah.
Like, what?
We would demand the baby meat. Yes. But you never know.
Grown or wild caught? Like, what the fuck?
Baby meat. That's what we should call the episode.
All right, we're done. We're done on baby meat trade. Like, I feel that ends the show now.
Oh, I think you're probably right there. On that disturbing note, we'll probably call it a day. Thank you very much for listening to the show. I'm sure you'll be back, hopefully, after that. But yeah, just thanks to my co-host, Slartsock and Pangolin Manglin. And other than that, we shall see you again soon. Thank you very much for listening to Canonn Radio. We'll be back. Other than that, take care and have a great evening and stay safe. Bye-bye for now.
Have a good one, everybody.